Good morning or afternoon, everyone. My name is Jeremy Walsh, and I'm the Director of Support, Training, and Documentation for BNI Connect. I'd like to welcome everybody to the webinar today. Today's webinar is Building VCP through BNI Connect, or Maintaining Your Profile in BNI Connect. We're going to talk today about all the different places where you can enter information into BNI Connect and where it shows up on your profile. A lot of building VCP, or visibility, credibility, and profitability in BNI Connect is done through making sure that you're putting your best foot forward when people see you on BNI Connect. So what we're going to do today is a little bit of where does this information show up, as well as how you can update the information within BNI Connect. A couple of things, housekeeping about today's webinar. This is a live webinar, so if you have questions as we're going through, please do feel free to ask those questions at any time. The easiest way to do that is through the questions panel. You can submit a question, and as I see it pop up on the screen, I can answer it. If you are at a computer with a microphone or you're dialed in via the telephone connection, you can also try to raise your hand, and I'd be happy to open your microphone, and we can ask the question live, out loud. This webinar is being recorded, so the entire webinar, including the questions and answers, will be recorded. It will be made available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. That's youtube.com/BNI Connect Global. And you can find all of our uploaded webinars there. So there are previous copies of this particular webinar, as well as a ton of other material up there for your viewing pleasure, including a special webinar that we did earlier last week with Dr. Ivan Meisner, as well as a message from Dr. Ivan Meisner. You can also get to these by clicking on the question mark in BNI Connect. And if you scroll down to the training section, you will see all of the webinars month by month that are listed here as well. So let's get started with today's content. And as I said, this is a 30-minute webinar. We will try to end with the content promptly at the bottom of the hour, but I will always stay on these webinars until all questions are answered. So let's talk a little bit about VCP in BNI Connect. And I'd like to tell you guys a quick story, and this actually happened to me a couple of months ago. So I was sitting here in my office, and I was working on support for BNI Connect. I am a member of a chapter here in the Rhode Island area of BNI. Been a member for about 11 years now, since 2002. And I'm sitting here in my office, and a client of mine walks in. He says, "Hey, I need a referral." I'm like, wow, how often does that happen? Somebody just walks into your office and asks for a referral. I said, great, how can I help you? He said, well, I have an in-house bookkeeper, but we've gotten to the end of her knowledge as to what QuickBooks can do, and I have some advanced things I'd like to do. Do you know a good QuickBooks consultant? I said, yes, absolutely. I can help you out with that. So what I wanted to do was I wanted to get the information out of BNI Connect that I could pass to this client of mine. So what I did was, and I'm going to go to our test site here because I don't want to throw anybody under the bus, but I went to the regional website and I went to find a member, and this is the public side of BNI Connect, and I went to find. And I found this person's record, and I pulled up their profile. And this is very similar to what the profile looked like that I pulled up. It had a phone number, it had no picture, no company information, no links to the website. All it had was a name, a company name, and a chapter name. Now that doesn't do a lot for building visibility and credibility. Now keep in mind, these regional websites, I went to Antarctic Referrals, but you have one for your area, whether it's BNIGeorgia.com, mine happens to be BNIRI.com. These are searchable and used by the general public. So all the past BNI members from your chapter that still want to pass business to other BNI members that are still active, or if you're looking cross-country to get in touch with somebody in another chapter, people are looking at these regional websites to pass business to BNI members. Now, if somebody had instead gone to our regional website and they went to find a member, and let's say that they were looking for me, Jeremy Walsh, they would pull up my name, and this is my profile in BNI Connect. Now, this is a little bit better. There is my picture. There's a phone number. There's my mobile phone number, my website, my address, all my social media links, so they can jump right over to Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn and follow me there. They have my logo, my company name, a description of my business, my ideal referral, top products, all of this information that helps to build a little bit more credibility with someone who you might never have met before. Now, what I really wanted to do for this other member of my chapter was to print out this page or send this link over to my client so that they could contact them, much more information than I could put on a business card. Instead, I ended up writing down his phone number on a piece of paper and saying, hey, yeah, here, give this person a call. I'll be able to help you out. And I, of course, called that member and let him know about the referral. But again, this is the credibility portion. Now, on the inside of BNI Connect, people are searching for you the same way. So on the inside, and this is for BNI members only, once you log in, people can find you using the magnifying glass search. So, for example, if somebody was looking for me, they would find me, click on my profile, and here's the information that's available to other BNI members only. So it's a little bit more robust. So it has all of the roles that I have in BNI. So you can see that I'm a director and a member, group coordinator, things like that. It does have all of my profile information here as well. So my business, the keywords, the company, the logo, all of my phone numbers, email addresses, still all my social media links, but there's more on the inside. People can also read parts of your bio. So they can read your 60-second presentations, your gains profile, your tops profile. They can also see your connections, and you look through your connections in order to connect with people that you're connected with. They can also read any testimonials that people have left for you on your profile. So your testimonials will appear. Any photos that you've chosen to share with your photo gallery will be available for other people to look at as well. They can see the groups that you're administering or participating in. They can even look at your training history. So now that we know that all of this is visible, where do we put it into BNI Connect? That's really easy. All we have to do is click on the My Account button in the upper right-hand corner. This is where all of that information lives in BNI Connect. So once you click on the My Account button, you'll be brought to your My Account screens. And you'll notice that it's broken up into different tabs here. So these are the tabs that contain all of the information that you can edit on your profile. So we have the main profile tab, we have the user profile tab, we have the contact details tab, we have your account settings preferences, your bio, and your training history. Now, some of the information you can edit directly, and some of it you will have to talk to your regional office to edit. But let's go through these different tabs and take a look at what's in there. So this first tab is the main profile tab, and it's pretty straightforward. It has your title, Mr. and Mrs., Doctor, your name, your suffix, your gender, your company name. Now, for those of you here in the United States, you'll notice that there's something here that says VAT reference number. Now, what VAT stands for is value added tax. In the United States, we can safely ignore this particular field. It is in there for a lot of our international members that do need to record this as part of their business profile in BNI Connect. But for us in the U.S., we can just simply ignore that. A value-added tax is kind of like our sales tax that we might have here in the United States. Now, the industry and classification. These are listed based on when you applied. Now, if it is showing something incorrect, don't panic. Contact your director consultant for your chapter or your regional admin in your regional office, or talk to your executive director. They can make edits to your industry and classification. So if that's incorrect, again, just talk to your membership committee, your chapter director, and they'll be able to help you out with that. It will show what chapter you're a member in and your membership status. And again, if those are showing something incorrect, just talk to your regional office. Now, the next two parts here are where you do want to spend a little bit of time. Now, the first section here is your My Business description. The My Business description is, well, kind of like your elevator pitch. If you go to a lot of networking events, or if you've ever gone to a networking event, or even during open networking at your regular chapter meeting, this is what you would say to somebody to explain your business if it's somebody that you've never met before. So it should be concise, it should be straightforward. people tend to not read a lot of words, so you do want to keep it probably a paragraph or less. But this is where you would put that information, your My Business description. Now, why is this one important? Because this one is one of the ones that shows up on both profiles, both your inside BNI Connect that's only accessible to other BNI members, as well as your external profile, the one that's on the public regional website. So if I go back here, you'll notice that the My Business description is the one in this kind of bluish gray box here. And by the way, you don't have to go through any special publishing or anything to get this up onto the regional websites. This updates immediately. So if I was to go in, and I'm going to change this, and I'm just going to copy this real quick, but then I type in some other stuff here, my new description, and I click Update. The next person that views my profile, or if I just refresh this screen, you'll see that it's updated immediately. So again, you don't have to wait any amount of time or 24 hours or 2 days or ask somebody to publish it for you. It will change immediately. I'm going to go ahead and put my old description back in there. Now, as with working on any other document or anything else out there in the computer world, make sure that you do hit Update frequently. So as you make changes, hit the Update button. You'll see it's saved, flashed there at the bottom of the screen here, and then you'll know that it's now live. Now, the next section here is the keywords. Keywords are important because that's how people find you when they don't know your name. So especially on the regional websites, as well as on the search for other members in BNI Connect. But if people are looking for you, they're going to be looking based on what it is that they're looking to accomplish, what it is that they want done. So pick some good keywords to fill out on your profile. Now, if you're not sure what keywords to use, think of what you'd type into Google, or talk to the search engine optimization or web person in your chapter and say, hey, if you were looking for me online, what words would you use to find me? Now, the other thing is that these are one-for-one searches, so you do have to be creative when you're putting these in. For example, if you're an accountant, you may want to put in the words accountant as well as the word accounting, because those are two different words. Now, on the public website, it will search for your industry and your classification as well, but you do want to make sure that you go beyond just your industry and classification and put in words for what it is that you want to be found for. Now, the next tab on the screen, this will show your user profile information. And this is where you do a little bit more direct account management. So if you would like to change your username, you can put in just about anything you want for a username as long as it's not taken already in the system. Now, I recommend against using your email address because email addresses change too frequently, but you can use that if you'd like to, or anything else. The only thing that you're not allowed to do is to have spaces in the username. So if you'd like to change your username, just click on it and type in a new username. And you'll notice that if I try to put a space in, it won't let me use it. So do make sure that you don't have any spaces in it, and you can put your new username in. And again, as long as it's not being taken, click Submit, and that will be your new username for the next time you log in. You can also change your password here. Now, the memorable question and answer, those are used if you ever forget your password. And let me show you how that works. Now, you'll notice that here I have my daughter's nickname in as my memorable question and the answer of Livy for Olivia. Now, let me switch over to my other screen here. Now, if I was to log into BNI Connect and I can't remember my username and password, what I would do is click on this link at the bottom. It says Lost Username or Password. Click here. And this will bring me to the Request New Password screen. So all I need to do is put in my email address that's registered in the system, and then hit Tab or click down into the answer field. And in a second, you'll see my memorable questions show up. Now, the thing about the answer is that the answer is case and space sensitive. So my answer was Livy, but if I type in Livy with a lowercase l, it will not accept this answer. I do have to make sure that I put in the proper case for that with a capital L. Now, if I were to click Submit, it would reset my password to a random jumble of about 20 or so characters and letters and uppercase and lowercase and symbols, and it will send that to this email address, the one that's registered on my profile, via email, and I'll be able to copy and paste that back into the login screen so that I can log in, and then I would recommend immediately coming back here to the user profile screen and changing that password. You can also choose your language from this screen, and BNI Connect is translated into about 40 different languages. So also note that there's about 10 different versions of English. So if you ever notice that your dates don't look right, that is showing the day first instead of the month first, it's probably because you're using a European version of English. I'd recommend going in and switching that to the US version of English because that does control the date formats as well. The next thing you can do from here is to update your profile image and your company logo. And that's pretty easy to do. You just click on the change for either the profile picture or company logo. And if you don't have a picture there, or if you do, you still click on the little magnifying glass. And what this does is it opens up a search on your computer for a file to use. So I can go and I can go into my logos, let's say, and I can pick a new logo that I'd like to use. So let's say I'd like to use this black-based one instead of the white one. I can crop it if I'd like to, and then click Save. And now that new logo will be on my profile. Now the next tab is the Contact Details tab. And this is all your, well, contact details. So it has your phone number, direct number, home number, mobile number, pager number, voicemail number, toll-free number, fax number, carrier pigeon number, smoke signal number, whichever numbers you'd like to put up here. You can fill those all out. It also has your email address. Now this is the email address that will display, if you choose to display it, on your profile. And this is where all of your communications will go as well into this particular email. So when your regional office needs to notify you about things, that's the email address that it's going to go to. If you register for an event, let's say, on your regional website, this is where the email for all your reminders will go to, as well as your thank you for registering email. It's also where, if you forget your password and you use that password reset facility, this is where that email will be sent. So do make sure this is a valid email address in here and that it is formatted properly as well. Now this is for your company website to put in here. Just make sure it has that http:// in there. It should put it in automatically for you, but you do want to make sure that that's in there. And you can also put a number of social networking links, and you'll notice there's about a dozen to choose from. Now the next two sections are the two different addresses, and you'll notice there is an address as well as a billing address. Now for this, the reason that there's two addresses is because this top address is the public address. So that's the one that's going to appear on your profile, both on the inside of BNI Connect as well as on the regional website. Now you can opt to not show your contact details, which I really don't recommend doing because it'll mean that it also will hide your phone number, for example. If you do work out of a home office, what I recommend is doing something like this, putting in by appointment only, or you can even put in the words private. And that way your city, your state, your zip code, as well as all your phone numbers will still show up on your profile, but it won't display your private residence address. Now, if you do have a regular address, just keep that in there. Now, the other bottom on here, the billing address, that will be hidden in the system. So that's really only for your regional office to use. So if they do need to physically mail you something, that it does have a legitimate billing address in there. And of course, if you make any changes, do be sure to hit the update button at the bottom. Now I'm going to skip over the next tab for just a second and go straight over to the Bio tab. Now, the bio information is all about you. And when we talk about VCP, a lot of the other stuff is the visibility part. This is the credibility part. This is where you can really increase your credibility with people that are viewing your profile. So the first section here is the My Bio. Now, the bio by default is only going to be viewable by your secretary-treasurer on your profile or your other chapter members. This is the same exact bio that your secretary-treasurer hands out before a 10-minute presentation at your chapter meeting. So rather than scrambling at the last minute, one best practice is to fill this out ahead of time and just store it in BNI Connect, and your secretary-treasurer can access this before your 10-minute presentation. But you can also allow your other chapter members to see this information about you. And it's just your years in business, previous types of jobs, spouse, children, pets, hobbies and interests, cities of residence, years in that city, burning desire, something no one knows about you, and your key to success. And again, I remind you, some of this information on the Bio tab may take a little while to fill out, especially if you're filling out all of the information at once. After every couple of sections, again, just like working on a long Word document, you want to go through and update this at the bottom. BNI Connect does have a 1/2 hour, actually it's a 35-minute timeout. So if you do walk away from your computer, you go to take a phone call or something like that, after 35 minutes it will log you out of the system if there's no activity in BNI Connect. And that's for security purposes. So do make sure you update frequently. Now the second section here is the commercials. Now, why would you put a couple of 60-second commercials on here? Well, one of the reasons is, going back, I'm going to go back and look at my profile again. Now, you can look at your internal BNI Connect profile anytime you want to by clicking on this profile link at the bottom of the page. And I'm going to open that up. I'm going to choose to open in a new tab so I don't lose my spot here. On the Bio tab, people will be able to see your 60-second presentations. Why is that important? Because people are searching for you in BNI. Now, as people look at your profile, they can read this on your Bio tab. Right now, there's 150,000 active members in BNI. I can almost guarantee you that 149,950 of them or so will never hear you speak a 60-second at your chapter meeting. The only way they'd see that is by looking at these 60 seconds on your profile. So take a couple of minutes, expand your audience. People will read these, and you never know, it may even turn into a referral for you. Now, the second reason that you may want to fill out a couple of 60-second presentations on your profile, I'm sure this has never happened to you, but it's the day before your BNI meeting, and you realize that you're not going to make it in the morning, and you're nowhere near a computer. But you do have your phone, and you manage to call one of your business reps or a good friend of yours or just somebody that can go and be a substitute for you the next day. Now, because you're nowhere near a computer, you probably don't have the time to write up a 60 seconds to send them ahead of time. If you have a couple of 60-second presentations stored on your profile, you could always make a second phone call, call one of your other BNI members and say, hey, listen, I'm not going to make it to the meeting tomorrow. I do have a sub, but I didn't have time to get a 60-second presentation. Do you mind printing out one of my 60-second presentations for me from my profile? And they would be able to do that so that your substitute isn't winging it. And I do have a question here from Linda. I will get to your question in just a minute, I promise. The gains profile, if you think back to your member success program, this is the goals, accomplishments, interests, networks, and skills. Now, why do you want to fill out your gains? Again, thinking back to the member success program, one of the things that we're taught to do before a one-to-one is a gains exchange, where if I'm meeting with you, I would send you my gains profile ahead of time. You would send me your gains profile ahead of time. And it helps to really get a lot more information before the one-to-one so that we can go into deeper conversation right away. Now you can do that gains exchange right through BNI Connect by having the gains profile filled out. No more scrambling for the piece of paper and filling that out at the last minute. Kind of set it and forget it. Once you put it up into your profile, you'll be able to share that information with your one-to-one partners as well as with other people that might be viewing your profile. And finally, we have the TOPS profile, and this is your ideal referral, your top product, your top problem solved, your favorite BNI story, and your ideal referral partner. Now, this is also good credibility and business building information. If you don't have a lot of time and you're just jumping on and you have 5 minutes, I would highly recommend filling out the TOPS profile first. And the reason for that is, again, going back to my public profile on my regional website, you'll notice that this profile here on the right-hand side, the ideal referral, top product, top problem, this is the TOPS profile that's on your membership record. So this one is visible to a very wide audience, which is the entire internet. So fill this one out first. Now the last tab is your training history. This one we do not have access to edit ourselves. It will be automatically updated as you register and attend events in your region. But if something's missing from here, again, don't panic. Just get in touch with your regional office, and they can manually add things to this profile. But they do need to do it from the regional office. So if you're missing a member success program or a training event or something else, just call your director consultant or call your regional office, and they'll be able to add that to your profile. Now, finally, I'm going to go back to the Account Settings tab, and this is where you choose, of all the information that we just entered, what you want displayed where. Now, this first section here is the member-to-member section, and the member-to-member section is that inside BNI Connect profile. So that's when you use the magnifying glass and people find you. That's what you're showing to other members. And you can show which one of these tabs you'd like to share, either with everybody or all BNI members, whether or not they need to be connected with you first before you show that information, or whether you'd like to hide that information from everybody. Now, the public websites, you can also choose what you would like to show on the public websites. Now, again, you can opt out completely from the public websites by unchecking this first box. Now, that means you will not even appear in searches on your regional website. You can also allow people to email you from the BNI public website. Now, just to be clear, I'm going to go back to my profile. You'll notice that my email address is not displayed anywhere on this regional website. However, there is a link here that says send message. And what this does is it pulls up the ability for somebody to email you. Again, it will not show your email address, but this will go to your actual email. So a person can put in their email address and the subject and the message and a little CAPTCHA code to make sure it's not a robot that's sending these. And that will go to your regular email. So people can communicate with you from the regional website without displaying your email address. But if you'd like to, you can opt out of that, and then the send message button will no longer display. And this bottom one is to show your contact details. Now, right now, this is all lumped into one setting. In the next version of BNI Connect, you'll have a little bit more granular control over exactly which pieces you'd like to appear. But for now, if I uncheck this and I save it, what you'll notice is that a lot of my information will disappear. So you can see right now, before I refresh, it has my phone number, mobile number, and my email address. Now, if I refresh, because I changed that setting, you'll notice that pretty much all of my contact details have disappeared. I don't recommend that. I would like people to be able to contact me from the regional websites. So again, if you're working from home, I would recommend using the other technique that I showed you before about putting in private or by appointment only on your address field. And again, I prefer that my website, my phone number and mobile number, as well as my contact details do show up. Now the bottom section has to do with notifications in BNI. So the first one is when you participate in the BNI groups. Those are the discussion groups in BNI. You can choose whether or not you're notified on every time a new post is added to the groups that you're a member of. You can get a once per day daily digest, a once per week, or you can opt out of getting notified at all. The email forwarding, this has to do with just the social media notifications in BNI Connect. So you can get a copy of internal messages sent to your regular email. You can get a copy of the messages that you send also sent to your external email. You can get your connection requests forwarded as well as your recommendation requests forwarded. You can also opt out of communications that your regional office have deemed as optional emails. So we are at the bottom of the hour. For those of you that do need to leave right away, I do want to thank everybody for their time today. We do have one question. I will stay on the webinar. If people do have any questions, please do put them in now. I will stay here until all of the questions are answered. For those of you that are leaving, I do remind you that this full webinar, including the upcoming questions, is being recorded. It will be made available on our YouTube channel as well as on the support site. That YouTube channel is youtube.com/BNI Connect Global, and it will be uploaded to this channel very shortly. All right, so the questions. Again, I have one question. If anybody else has any questions, please do enter them now. From Linda, she says, is there a way to contact other Mary Kay BNI members? And yes, the way to do that would be through this magnifying glass here in BNI Connect. Now, there's a couple of different ways that you can do this. Now, you can search by names or keywords. So for anybody that's put Mary Kay in as a keyword, you could type Mary Kay and find all of the people in the United States that have put Mary Kay in as a keyword. And we can see that there's quite a few of them here. So it looks like 313 entries. So these are all people in the United States that have Mary Kay as a keyword. And what you can do is you can start looking at profiles. Now, when we're doing these types of searches, if I click on this name, it will bring me right to that record. I could also click on the plus sign to send them a connection request. A little power tip for you, if you don't want to lose your search and your search results, right-click on this and choose Open in a New Tab or Open in New Window. And that way it'll open up another instance, and you can still go back if you want to and keep your search results. You can narrow it down further if you'd like to with a state and a city. So if you'd like to do that. Now, one thing to keep in mind is that the state is a text search. So let's say that I'm looking for Mary Kay consultants in Florida. I can type in FL and I can click search, and it'll just bring back those people with a keyword of Mary Kay and with FL in their state. Now that works really well for Florida because it'll find people that have typed FL in as well as people that have typed Florida. For other places though, let's say Arizona, you may have to do two searches right now because it will search, and this will pull anybody that has AZ listed as the state of their profile. But there may be people that have typed out Arizona in their profile. So you might want to do two searches there. And if anybody has spelled out the full state, this would find Mary Kay keyword and Arizona. It looks like nobody did, though. So, Linda, does that help? One other thing that you may want to try is if you can also search by email address in this name and keyword. Now, that's great if you know the person's email address, and this technique works really well for companies that have a shared email address. So if you can also do a search for @marykay.com if people do have Mary Kay addresses. You would find anybody with an @marykay.com email address listed on their profile. And it looks like this has about 291 people that have been returned. This also works for other, I guess, big companies, like if I'm looking for people at edwardjones.com, which is a very popular financial consulting firm in the United States, and I could then search for anybody with an @edwardjones.com email address. It doesn't work for us companies that have our own domain names, but for bigger companies, again, like a Mary Kay or an Edward Jones, that might help you out. So hopefully that helps, Linda. Now, I don't have any other questions so far. Does anybody else have any other questions about their member profile or about anything else in BNI Connect? I'd be happy to answer those questions now. Excellent. If there aren't any other questions, I would once again like to thank everybody for their time today and for being a part of this webinar. If you found something useful in today's webinar, I urge you to please share this information with your other chapter members. A good referral for me is to please let your other chapter members know about these webinars. You can find the list of webinars available on the support site. If you click on this question mark in BNI Connect, it will take you to support.bniconnect.com. And you'll see we just posted our May webinar listing, so you can sign up for any of these upcoming webinars. And again, please let your chapter members know. Also, if you have a chance, please go to facebook.com/BNI Connect Global. We do webinar announcements and reminders and tips and tricks and all sorts of things here on our Facebook page as well. So give us a like and join us up there. We have another question here from Mary Beth. She says, are webinars able to be seen later? And yes, you can see the webinars anytime you'd like to. Just go to youtube.com/BNI Connect Global or do a search for BNI Connect Global on YouTube, and you'll be able to see all of the uploaded webinars here. So we do have another copy of this one from just a couple of weeks ago that is uploaded, Building VCP with BNI Connect, as well as all of the other subject matter. You can also get that on the support site. Again, if you go to support.bniconnect.com or click on the question mark in BNI Connect, scroll down to the trainings section, and you'll see here webinars. And you'll notice that they're broken out by month, and you can just click on the month, and you can see the recorded webinars for that month that you can click through from that site as well. So hopefully that answers your question, Mary Beth. And again, most of the older webinars are about 1 hour in length. A couple of months ago, we switched to this half-hour format. So Mary Beth asks, some people in my group do not use the web, believe it or not. How can that affect people who do in the group? Mary Beth, it's a double-edged question. I don't think it's going to hurt anybody else in the group. Really, this BNI Connect is another tool in your networking toolbox. It is not the only thing. BNI is about the face-to-face meetings and the personal connections that we have with the other members in our group. This is just an enhancement to that. So for people that aren't using the web, again, they're still getting the full benefit of BNI and the face-to-face connections. For those of you that are using the web, this is expanding your network beyond your chapter borders with the ability to do cross-chapter referrals and just to be able to help each other out. You have an aunt in Florida or in California and you need somebody that you know, like, and trust that might be able to help them out. Most of us turn to BNI first for that. So we're doing these searches in BNI Connect. We're doing these searches on the regional websites in order to be able to, again, find those people. If you want to be found and you want to be one of those people that are found, then the first thing you need to do is get on a computer and get your BNI Connect profile filled out. Referrals are being passed every single day through BNI Connect. So hopefully that helps, Mary Beth. Excellent. Do we have any other questions, comments, or concerns? Again, thank you everybody for your time today. Welcome you to the next webinars, and please do let your other chapter members know about these webinars. Happy connecting, everyone. Have a wonderful week.